Raider Nation, what's going on? This is the Raiders Report, and today's show is brought to you by Tavour. Check out all these beers that these guys brought us, and if you want a whole bunch of custom beers brought right to your door, head over to Tavour.com right now. Sign up, use that promo code CHATSPORTS for $10 off your very first purchase. Okay, guys, let's get into some high-quality Raiders news. The first one I got coming up, well, not too much of an update right now on Khalil Mack, and this is a little bit frustrating, I get it, but as the situation surrounding Khalil Mack holdout from the Raiders slowly draws closer to the start of the regular seasons, tensions, well, they're getting a little bit tighter. There's been no positive update on contract talks since much earlier in the offseason, and even then, there hasn't been much to give fans reasons for excitement. That talk has not moved forward whatsoever. Most recently, NFL.com's Ian Rappaport revealed Mack's camp and the Raiders haven't even spoken about a contract since February. Yeah, my birthday's in February. If anyone cares, wants to send me even more beer, I would totally be down for that. Raider Nation, thank you so much for tuning in to the Raiders Report. My name is Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. And don't be afraid to subscribe to the Raiders Report on YouTube for the latest Raiders rumors, news, and a lot more. I would definitely appreciate that. Okay, head back into those news for me, please, Elena. Awesome. Next one coming up. Who's the only guy to speak to Khalil Mack? Charles Woodson, apparently. So I like to see this because, well, Woodson's a fan of Chat Sports. I know that. Friend of James Yoder, and last week reported that Gruden and Mack, they haven't even spoken. The only person talking to Mack is Charles Woodson, and in an interview, Woodson stated that he recently gave Mack some advice on how to handle the holdout. This is what Woodson said. I just told him, whenever you come back, I don't know what happens with your deal, if you get a new deal or if you're playing on the same deal. When you come back ready. It's interesting to hear that Woodson and Mack have connected, although it's unknown who reached out to who. Unfortunately, though, the Raiders legend didn't offer much in terms of what Mack said altogether. Okay, next bit of news I got for you guys coming up on the board. Raiders, they signed a cornerback, Rashawn Pringle. I wish I had some in my hand, but no big deal, right? So this guy, he joined the Raiders yesterday after spending his rookie season on both the Green Bay Packers and the Jaguars. Practice squad in 2017, a former running back and wide receiver of Southern Utah. Interesting to see that he played there. And in a corresponding move, the Raiders have waived injured defensive back Shaquille Richardson, who participated with the team throughout the club's off-season program. What's going on, guys? If you like craft beer like me, Tavour is going to help you discover rare craft beers, curate your own collection, and you're going to get a box delivered right to your door. Go to Tavour.com right now. Sign up. Use that promo code CHATSPORTS to get $10 off your very first purchase. Thank you to Tavour and the Raider Nation. Those were my news. Now I'm going to get into some Raiders rumors. And if you're new to my show, I need you to understand my Raiders rumors scale. 0 Chucky heads, tuck rule, tuck that. That rumor is not going to happen. 1 Chucky head, small shred of truth, 25% chance it's going to happen. 2 Chucky heads, people are talking. I like to think 50-50. 3 Chucky heads, pretty likely, 75% chance. And then 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. 100% this rumor is going to happen. Okay, let's get into some Raiders rumors. First one coming up on the board, Arden Key flashing at camp. I'm going to give this one 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. Now, I have a little bit of a dirty mind, and when I first read that Arden Key was flashing at camp, yeah, it's not what I expected, I'll be honest. But Arden Key's spin move is lightning quick, and he's in front of a moment right now where he's showing, and he's just showing that he can flash for this team. The third-round edge rusher has victimized several offensive linemen, flashing the immense talent he showcased as a junior at LSU. Key believes practices are going well because he's comfortable with his new team. This is what he had to say. I'm playing much faster. The playbook is getting locked down, so I'm able to just react much faster. That's a good thing. Arden could be the key to the Raiders' defense, and the key to my heart, well, I don't know if you guys know this, is craft beer. And I want you guys to know my top 5 types of beer. So I have all sorts of favorites. I like ales, right? And then my number 3 is stouts. 4 is porters and lagers. For me, though, when I think of lagers, I think of chilling with my dad, enjoying a lager, and I don't know. But ultimately, IPAs are my favorite. So if you guys want to send me an IPA, I would definitely be down for that. Okay, next room I got coming up on the board, Obi. Is he going to be a week 1 starter? Oh, man, I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. Now, Obi's a common name on the Raiders Report, and he's practicing right now with the Raiders' first team. This dude is dripping with talent, but raw talent doesn't get you on the field, and he needs to stay healthy. It appears that the only reason that Obi is practicing with the Raiders' first team is because Gilchrist and Joseph, well, they're injured. And when they come back, he might not be practicing with the week 1 starters any longer. Okay, next room I got for you guys coming up on the board. Raiders, they're going to cut DeAndre Washington. Ooh, man, I'm going to give this one 3 Chucky heads, pretty likely. Now, this rumor, well, this one's for me. And this is how I dissected it. The Raiders released their depth chart yesterday. A rumor that has been swirling all offseason is which running back will the Raiders release, DeAndre Washington or Jalen Richard. Now, guys, before I get into that, I want to bring up the 5 running backs that these guys have on their depth chart, and it's Marshawn Lynch there led at number 1, and then it's Doug Martin, and then it's Jalen Richard, and then it's Chris Warren, who they just signed, and then DeAndre Washington, all the way down there at the bottom. And if I'm telling you right now, if it was between Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington, well, the fact that he's all the way down there at 5, that tells me that this is a guy who they could potentially cut. So I think that's why it's 3 Chucky heads. It's pretty likely. Okay, next rumor coming up on the board, Raiders to trade Khalil Mack. You're going to have to find out from a word from our sponsor, Tavor.
Now, before we continue on with the Raiders report, I've got to let you guys know that we are sponsored by Tavor. Beer drinkers, listen up. This is the app you need. You can now have everyday access to craft beer you can't get in your own area. A custom box of beer delivered directly to your door. You can sign up today at Tavor.com, but make sure you use the promo code CHATSPORTS so you get $10 off your order, $20 or more.
I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. Last week I said on the Raiders report that the Raiders may trade Khalil Mack, and it looks like Paul Gutierrez, well, he watches the Raiders report. He wrote an article about a trade that every NFL team could make. He listed Khalil Mack as a potential trade candidate for the Raiders. Now, Mack's holdout is now at 11 days. Gutierrez writes, would it be smart for Oakland to trade the face of its defense as it begins a rebuild under John Gruden? Probably not. But as Gruden himself recently told NFL Network, the Raiders' defense was not that good in 2017, even with Mack. Reggie McKenzie asked Gutierrez at the coaches' meeting in March if he had an extra $100 million to pay Mack. And if a team flashed a first-round pick at Oakland for his services of Mack, the Raiders would be silly not to listen to them. So, guys, I want to know from you on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're not scared, 10 being you're freaking out, are you scared that the Raiders are actually going to trade Khalil Mack? At first, when I started talking about this, I would have said no way. I'm starting to get a little bit worried. A solid 6. I'm a solid 6, maybe in a few ways. Okay, next room I got coming up on the board, Martavis Bryant. Is he going to be a bust this year? I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. Muscle weighs more than fat, right? And this guy's absolutely shredded. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. This guy's an absolute freak. And you could argue, when healthy, and his focus is on the field, Martavis is one of the most explosive receivers in the NFL. So far, however, his transition to the Oakland Raiders, who acquired him in April, just hasn't quite been smooth. He's shown flashes in training camp, but has missed practice this last week due to an illness. This is what Gruden had to say yesterday. He's got to get out there, and he's got to play better. He's in a competitive situation. Right now, a lot of other receivers have had a nice camp. He just got to learn the offense. He's got to stay out here. He's had some illnesses. He's got to get on the field. He's got to master the offense and become more versatile, and that's the key to making this team better. So, I want to know from you guys, true or false, Martavis Bryant is going to be a bust. If you think Bryant's going to be a bust, give me a heart. True. If you don't think he's going to bust, false, give me a like. Okay, next rumor coming up on the board, a suspension coming for Daryl Worley. Oh, boy, I'm going to give this one 3 Chucky heads. It's pretty likely. Now, in April of this year, cornerback Worley was arrested in Pennsylvania on charges of a DUI, possessing firearms in public, and resisting arrest. He was promptly released by the Eagles. But the specter of Worley's legal troubles remain, and the Raiders knew that they would eventually have to cross that bridge with their new young and talented corner. On June 18th, Worley pleaded guilty to the charges, and yesterday it was reported that he was sentenced to 3 days jail time and 2 years of probation. This sentence is likely to bring a suspension for the NFL during the 2018 season, according to Ian Rappaport. Raider Nation, what's going on? This is the Raiders Report, presented by Tavor. My name is Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365, and don't be afraid to subscribe to the Oakland Raiders Report on YouTube. We got Raiders Rumors, we got Raiders News, and just so much for you guys. I would definitely appreciate it. Okay, I talked about some news. I talked about some rumors. I gave you guys some awesome beer choices. Now I'm going to get into my second segment of the show, and this is preseason week 1, what to watch for. And the guy that I really want to watch is Arden Key. Now, how does Arden Key play this against the Lions? That's what I want to know, right? So there's a ton of hype around this guy because, well, he's really freaking good. And he fell in the draft due to off-field concerns, but from a talent standpoint, he's a top, probably first-round pick. Super talented. But I want to know from you guys, over or under 5.5 sacks for Arden Key in 2018. If it's over, give me a heart. If it's under, give me a like. If you guys want to throw in the comments how many sacks you think this guy's going to have, well, I would definitely appreciate that. Okay, next one coming up, Nick Nelson versus the Detroit wide receivers. Rookie quarterback Nick Nelson missed the Raiders offseason program due to an injury he suffered during a pre-draft private workout for a club that he's going to face on Friday. That's the Detroit Lions. Now, Nelson should get a long look against Detroit now that he's healthy and is the absence of starting cornerback Garyon Conley with the strained hip. This is also going to help ultimately boost, Nelson's playing time. So the Lions, they run a ton of crossing patterns, so I want to see how this guy Nelson handles it. I mean, he was a guy that I liked coming out of Wisconsin, but ultimately, he's going to get tested. He's going to get tested very often. But before I get into my next one, another word from our sponsor, Tavour. What's going on, guys? If you like craft beer like me, Tavour is going to help you discover rare craft beers, curate your own collection, and you're going to get a box delivered right to your door. Go to Tavour.com right now. Sign up. Use that promo code CHATSPORTS to get $10 off your very first purchase. Next one I got coming up is Connor Cook versus E.J. Manuel is something that I desperately want to watch. So, Connor Cook figures to receive plenty of playing time against the Lions. The Raiders need to see exactly what they have in the third-year pro out of Michigan State. McKenzie drafted him in the 4th round of the 2016 NFL Draft. Gruden had this to say about Cook. He's getting better. A lot. I think he's doing better. He really is. I think he's taking to the offense. He's showing more and more command. He and EJ are in a real battle. So, guys, I want to know from you, who will be Derek Carr's backup? If you think it's going to be Connor Cook, give me a heart. If you think it's going to be EJ Manuel, give me a thumbs up. For me, I'm sticking on the EJ Manuel train because, well, I just think he's a lot better than a guy like Connor Cook. I've seen what Connor Cook can do. Okay, next one coming in. Can Eric Harris earn a role? And not just any role. I want to know if he can maybe even earn a starting role. So, Harris isn't a household name, but Gruden loves the former Canadian Football League star. Harris appeared in 15 games for the Raiders in 2017, and the 6'3", 225-pound safety may earn more time in 2018. Harris has a chance to convince Gruden he deserves a starting spot when the preseason begins. Gruden said himself that Harris has a chance to be a full-time starter. And then the last thing I want to watch, I want to see the fiery goodness of John Gruden. How much energy is this guy going to bring, right? So, this guy hasn't coached in 10 years. I've said that multiple times. He signed a huge deal, 10 years, $100 million this offseason. And we know that he's got a fire personality, but guess what? I want to see it. I don't care that it's the first week of the preseason. I want to see that snarl. I want to see that Chucky head, and I want to be super pumped to see John Gruden on those sidelines. Okay, now back to all 5 of what I'm going to watch for. I'm going to watch for Arden Key. Is he going to be the key to the Raiders defense to get them going this year? I want to see a guy like Nelson against those Detroit wide receivers. Then I want to see Connor Cook against E.J. Manuel. Can Eric Harris earn a starting role? And John Gruden, is he going to bring that energy? Raider Nation, thank you so much for tuning in to the Raiders Report. My name is Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Next week, I'm going to talk about the Raiders preseason week 1, how they did. I'm going to talk about some winners and losers. And until next time, go Raiders.